Wetico is a word that Native Americans use to designate an evil person who never worries about the well-being of others. They see such people as plagued by a mind parasite that twists their good nature. This video explores Wetico, its parallels in various cultures, its connections to quantum psychology and hyperdimensional realms, its manifestations, and, most importantly, how to overcome its darkness. Throughout history and across cultures, humanity has grappled with the concept of unseen forces that influence our lives, sometimes for good, but often for ill. From the jinn of Arabian lore to the tricksters of West African mythology, these entities often serve as cautionary tales, embodying our primal fears and desires. In Europe, the legend of the vampire stands as a chilling example of such a force. These blood-sucking creatures, depicted as both alluring and monstrous, have transcended folklore to become pop culture icons. Yet, their origins lie steeped in ancient beliefs about malevolent spirits that prey on the living. This hungry parasitic spirit resides in the mind and eats away the body and soul of its human hosts. Enter the concept of Wetico, a chilling idea emerging from certain Native American traditions. This malevolent spirit is not merely a bloodthirsty monster, but rather an embodiment of selfishness, envy, and greed. It preys on individuals and communities, twisting their perceptions and fueling destructive behaviors. Wetico is a mind virus that operates from another dimension. It's not something physical that you can see or smell. It resides in between information and consciousness, hence it's called a mind virus, or a consciousness virus. Once it has a grip on its host, the mind virus starts operating on a subconscious level. This mind virus invades people's minds and can take over control of their bodies. Paul Levy says, Wetico is elusive and mercurial. For whatever we say Wetico is, it isn't, in that it is always more, less, and other than what we are able to say it is in language. Wetico thrives on fear, greed, and separation. It drives us to indulge in destructive behaviors, obsessions, and addictions. Wetico manifests as alcoholism, binge eating, compulsive consumerism, shallow hookups, antisocial behavior, nymphomania, narcissism, psychopathy, and all kinds of anti-life behaviors that plague our society. Wetico justifies them as harmless pleasures or necessary evils. For some, it's a constant battle to resist the allure of Wetico, while others have surrendered completely to its grip, becoming willing accomplices. While traditionally viewed through spiritual lenses, Wetico aligns fascinatingly with emerging ideas in quantum psychology. This perspective suggests that consciousness extends beyond the physical brain, interacting with subtle energetic fields, or hyperdimensions. Within this framework, Wetico might be understood as a parasitic entity, feeding on negative emotions and distorting these fields, influencing our thoughts and actions. This framework proposes that consciousness isn't confined to the physical confines of the brain. Instead, it extends outwards, interacting with subtle energetic fields, often referred to as hyperdimensions. Imagine these fields as invisible landscapes, teeming with information and energy, influencing our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors in ways we are only beginning to understand. Within this paradigm, Wetico ceases to be merely a monstrous entity and becomes something far more intricate, a parasitic entity. It thrives on the negative emotional soup we brew: fear, greed, envy, hatred. Like a malevolent sponge, it feeds on these energies, distorting the very fabric of these hyperdimensional fields. This distortion in turn ripples back, influencing our thoughts, warping our perceptions, and nudging us towards actions that resonate with its destructive essence. Think of it like a virus infecting a computer system. It doesn't directly attack the hardware, but rather corrupts the underlying code, manipulating processes and outputs. Similarly, Wetico, in this view, doesn't directly control our minds, but subtly sabotages the energetic backdrop against which our conscious experience unfolds. This perspective opens up a whole new avenue for understanding and potentially combating Wetico. It's no longer just about exorcising demons or battling external forces. Instead, it becomes a journey of inner exploration, of understanding how our own emotional landscape might be feeding this parasitic entity. Of course, this is just the tip of the iceberg. The precise nature of these hyperdimensions and their interaction with consciousness remains a mystery. But the very possibility that Wetico occupies this unseen stage, influencing our lives in unseen ways, is a call to action. It's a call to be more aware of ourselves and how we act or think contrary to the self. On an individual level, it manifests as self-destructive behavior, a dark urge to destroy and suck everything dry, including its human host. On a collective level, it cannibalizes all of our social systems from within, like a cancerous cell. The 7 deadly sins are how Wetico propagates on Earth. Greed, lust, wrath, sloth, gluttony, pride, and envy are the instruments of this cancerous mind virus. As a matter of fact, Carl Jung, who came up with the concept of the shadow to explain the dark elements of the psyche, identified how this mind virus takes over from the inside and eventually develops autonomy before taking control of the psyche. Wise as he was, Carl Jung once said, "The world today hangs by a thin thread, and that thread is the psyche of man." Especially nowadays when Wetico has leaked itself into cyberspace and now spreads like wildfire from there all across the world. Wetico's influence is so powerful these days, to the point that it has become normalized. People don't even notice it. The collective psychosis caused by Wetico has a strong grip over contemporary society. Not being a zombie for this undead vampiric spirit is rare these days, especially among city dwellers and those addicted to the internet in one way or another. Wetico finds it easier to communicate on a global scale thanks to social media and internet users who've been trapped in this collective hypnosis. Zombie and vampire myths offer potent metaphors for Wetico's influence. Both consume, exploit, and lack empathy, reflecting the mind virus's ability to numb compassion and turn individuals into agents of its insatiable hunger. Recognizing Wetico is the first step. Cultivating awareness, empathy, compassion, and ethical action are crucial antidotes. Engaging in practices like mindfulness, gratitude, and service helps starve the virus of its fuel. Collective action to address social injustices and promote sustainability further weakens its hold. The devil's lesson. While Wetico represents destruction, it can also be a potent teacher. Acknowledging its darkness allows us to confront our own shadow selves and choose a brighter path. By understanding its mechanisms, we gain the power to resist its pull and build the new golden age. Kairos is about taking this knowledge, or gnosis, into action. See how you can reduce Wetico's influence, or whatever you want to call it, upon your life. See how Wetico makes you act counter to your good nature, and take note of that. Every new day is an opportunity to win a battle against mind viruses. Wetico may be a chilling concept, but recognizing its presence empowers us to choose differently. Remember, even in the darkest moments, the potential for transformation and healing always exists. Join Kairos Collective. Make sure to subscribe for future updates.